So I should start by saying, hi, I'm Siko and I was a pirate. But one day I was, having a conversation with my wife and I realized that I was a pirate. Because sometimes you have a blind spot. Like, you're a pirate, but you don't see why it's bad. But one day I just realized it's just bad. For me, as a Christian and as a music producer who hopes to profit off his music, it's just bad. There's no excuses. Now, I'm not saying this to make anyone feel judged who actually uses pirated software. I'm just trying to narrate my own journey to you and just tell you guys, where I'm coming from. So I used to be a hardcore pirate. I used to be the worst of the worst. I used to be famous. I was the guy who you called when your pirate couldn't pirate. I was that guy. I knew where to get all the newest cracks and how to make all the newest cracks work. And I learned all the schemes for all the different software. And one day I just realized it's bad. It's just bad. So I stopped. So some of you might be at that point. Some of you might not quite yet be at that point. Some of you might never get there, whatever it is. Now, there are a few advantages to stopping piracy. First of all, you stop piracy. That's a good thing. Well, secondly, you actually learn to appreciate the tools that you do legitimately have. Stopping piracy also helps you actually learn more. I found that my music has gotten better and I've gotten a lot more creative since I've stopped pirating, because now I have fewer plugins and VSTs to use. So I have to learn every tool that I have more thoroughly. And I think that for the people who are trying to move to legit software, this might be helpful to them. I don't judge you. I understand that for a lot of people, money is an issue. I get that. I really understand that. But the truth is that you can make great music with legit software and free software. So here's a little guide on how to make that transition. First things first, free software is not bad software. A lot of the times we are not attracted to using free alternatives to more established names or more popular names because, we feel that because it's free, it's probably not good. Well, that's not correct. So I can give you a couple examples where this is absolutely wrong. The DAW waveform has a free version that is fully featured with maybe a couple things here and there taken out. I can tell you, as someone who put in the time to learn a new DAW, waveform is capable of doing a significant amount of the things that I would be able to do with the FL. Another great example is Labs. Labs is a completely free VST plugin by the guys at Spitfire Audio. Labs is great. There are tones, there are sounds that you'll find in Labs that you'll never find anywhere else, period. So don't overlook the free stuff. Number 2, just because software is old or cheap doesn't mean it's bad. The first batch of software I got was a bunch of software from Air Music Technology, and they were on sale, and I got them for like $10 for free. And let me tell you, there are things in that $10 pack I bought that I still use now. All the Air Music software that I got, like Hybrid 3 and Loom and Vacuum Pro, they've been out for a while. The fact that software is really cheap doesn't mean that it's bad. Just make sure you know what it is. I would say watch a bunch of reviews, read about it, learn about the software before you buy it. Even if you're buying it for only $5, make sure it's something that you will actually get some use out of. Isotope is constantly doing some kind of promo or giveaway where they're selling a bunch of software for $50. Those bundles are crazy value for money. Don't think that because they are going for that cheap that they're not good. With Ozone Elements, for example, it will do the job. It will master your track, especially if your mix is good. So yeah, old software, not bad. Cheap software, not bad either. Take baby steps. Even if you have the money, I would not advise you to buy every legit software that you can afford all at once. I would say buy the ones that you know you need first and then go from there. Unless you already know the software that you actually want, and then you can buy them all. Maybe you already have like a workflow and you have the tones you're used to and the libraries you actually really want, and then you can buy them. Baby steps. I would always advise just buy the little ones you know and try to learn those first before you buy more. Start with what you can afford. What I learned is that when I started paying for software, I got more comfortable paying for even more software. And it just came naturally. And now I'm at a point where I don't even think twice about it anymore. Just start small. Buy your first plugin for $5 on Plugin Boutique. That's fine. Just start small. You can do this. You can do this. I promise you, it feels better and your software works better. You don't have to set up firewalls to make sure that your stuff doesn't get blocked off when you're on the internet. There's serious rest of mind. Serious rest of mind. Embrace the learning process. So what that means is that there is a fair chance that you have to relearn some software or use an alternative that is cheap or free. And I think for the most part, that's not really a bad thing. I'll give you an example. So I was an FL guy, and when I decided to transition, when I say transition, I mean like transition, but not transition. You get me? Anyway, so when I transitioned, I moved from FL Studio to Waveform. That's ultimately what I found worked better. I used Waveform and I learned MPC Beats as well. So for someone who had used FL Studio at that point for over 10, 15 years, learning a new DAW was, well, new and sometimes frustrating. But it was fun and it was rewarding. And now, honestly, having learned Waveform, I actually have moved some of my processes to Waveform. So, for example, FL Studio notoriously has a hard time with recording vocals. So I can still record vocals in FL. But if I want an easier time of it, I just take my vocals to Waveform and record them there. And then I can re-import them back into FL to mix. It's just a nice little tool to have in my shed, and I appreciate that. So enjoy the learning process. If you have to learn something new, learn something new. It's fun. It will increase your usefulness as a producer having to learn new software. Some of you might have been used to using Auto-Tune for the longest time, and you have to learn something like Grayon. Is it Grayon or Grayon? Or you need to learn M-Auto Pitch, for example. Then learn it. That's fun. You just slightly different workflow, whatever. You still get the job done. It's just fun to learn more stuff and see how people are implementing different technologies or implementing similar technologies in unique ways. Embrace the limitations. So a big part of transitioning to legit software is that you might have to start by using cut down versions of the software you already love. So for example, I know that for people who use Ableton has an OEM version that ships with audio interfaces and some MIDI keyboards, and those versions are Ableton in full but limited to 8 tracks. I think that's Ableton Live Lite. That can be fine. That can be fun. That might be a way for you to enjoy and experience music production in a cramped space, and that might actually breed more innovation. So enjoy that as well. Enjoy those limitations that you have to deal with for a while, and I bet you'll probably be a lot more creative when you're working in those limited boxes than when you have unlimited track counts. So I wasn't going to leave you without a few recommendations to step two. For DAWs, I would suggest that you get 2 DAWs, MPC Beats and Waveform Free. Here's why. MPC Beats, as a beat maker for me, is superior because it comes with more tones out the box. It comes with a slightly better sample library, comes with a nice synth out the box, and all those things are free. So I would say for beat making, MPC Beats will get you there. You might have an 8-track limitation, but a lot of the tracks are kits, but a lot of those tracks are actually kits, and all the elements of those kits actually get their own mixer track. And then to record vocals and do multi-track stuff, I would say use Waveform Free. Waveform Free is unlimited tracks. It has sequencing capabilities, but I would say that MPC Beats is a more fluid sequencer, in my opinion. For VSTs, get Labs and get BBC Symphony Orchestra if orchestral music is your thing. Even if orchestral music is not your thing, still get BBC Symphony Orchestra. Labs is free right out the bat, but BBC Symphony Orchestra requires a 2-week waiting period. Get those two. And then get Vital and Surge. Those are both synths, and rest. Just hold on to all of that, learn those ones, and rest. Check out Bedroom Producer's blog, I think that's what it's called, that has a list of all the free alternatives for just about every kind of software that you would want. My recommendations for effects: the 2 DAWs come compressors and reverbs that are fine. The only thing I would ask you to get creatively is Valhalla Supermassive. It probably does things that many professional reverbs don't do. But yes, get Valhalla Supermassive, and that should be it. For my money, if you own a Mac, you have no reason to pirate, because GarageBand is fantastic. I have seriously considered getting a Mac myself just because of GarageBand. I have GarageBand on my iPad, and it is amazing. The things I can do on my iPad, on my tablet, fantastic. There are loops that come stuck on my iPad that I don't have access to anywhere else that are so much better than, all the other stuff that I have. So I would say, if you have a Mac, start with GarageBand. Like, do everything there. Just live there. GarageBand is a good place. And yeah, that's it. Please stop pirating. But I also don't judge you. Okay, bye for now.